point of a trade war. There wasn't a trade war when you were on the watch in China. There wasn't a trade war for the next Asia. There wasn't a trade for the unbalanced. Now we got a trade war.
Well, the book I wrote a few years ago that you were kind enough just to flash on the screen spoke about a relationship that was unsustainable and that was on a difficult course. It did not anticipate an aggressive new U.S. president who would initiate the trade war with large-scale tariffs. But it underscored the idea that the United States has trade deficits right now with 102 countries, in large part because we don't save. And the biggest piece of that is with China. And so we had a president now who is anti-China, just as he was anti-Japan in the 1980s, and believes that you can address these problems country by country. But when you have 102 countries that you're in deficit with, that's a fool's game. It won't work.
The heritage of Yale University in the study of China goes back to Jonathan Spence in those mines in Taiwan when they took the treasures from Beijing with Chiang Kai-shek over to Taiwan. And it leads up to Stephen Roach at Yale University and the modern China. Throughout all of that was a belief that mercantilism was something from the 17th century or maybe the early 18th century. Is it a mercantilist America, and do we do that at our peril?
Well, I think we're looking at only half the story, Tom. We're looking at trade and the dark side of trade and what it is presumed to do to jobs and wages and the character of our society that's been most exposed to trade. But what we fail to see is that trade is the other side of a coin of a nation that has for a long time lived beyond its means and needs the foreign capital and the trade deficits to square the circle. So it's ludicrous for us to be critical of country after.
So he brought up a very interesting perspective. I did not consider that the trade war, I understand, is terrible, but he makes up a great point where China's not the only culprit in this trade deficit, and it's just the way the U.S. has been set up, and it's really due to outsourcing. So obviously Trump is going to try to renegotiate better deals, but the fundamental problem is the American economy and how it's based on consumption. And that's why we did have this crazy bull market, and unfortunately it might be coming to an end, especially if Chinese markets and U.S. markets can't get along, and that could be the catalyst for a crypto rebound if we see a global recession. But let me know your thoughts on this, and I will talk to you soon.